Well, with that, first of all, I'd like to thank you for all being here and welcome to the 6th annual event. This is the 6th year we've done it, started in 2020. Little did I know that my youngest daughter, who was out in California in 2019, had seen a Wreaths Across America in the Palo Alto area because she was working for the VA at the time. And she goes, "Ma, you have nothing to do. Why don't you do something?" So that in 2020 I went, okay, and decided to do it independent of Wreaths Across America. That way we could have a little different involvement. The Scouts could be involved, but we still honored our veterans. So that's how this crazy thing started in 2020, compliments of youngest daughter. So the other thing is we are here to honor our veterans who served our country and are laid to rest here in Stow. And I want to, there's a few folks that I want to give a special shout out and thank you to. First of all, Scout Troop 1 could not do this without you. Between your support here today, but as I say to Karen, that magic button on your website that allow people from all over the country to be able to donate a wreath, to be able to lay on the wreaths of one of our graves of one of our veterans here is just so special, and thank you very, very much. To Kate Hogan, our state rep, who has just done so much for this town and continues to support us as well as our veterans, and everyone who donated wreaths through either the Boy Scouts or on my doorstep, thank you very much. And one of the other large donors that I want to say thank you to is Taproot Tree Farm, who also gave a very, very generous donation. So with that, I'd like to start off with a poem that I've used a few times when we do what we call Quilts of Valor, which are quilts given to veterans from all over. And it's called It Is the Veteran. It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to assemble and the right to demonstrate. It is the veteran, not the police, who has given us the right to be secure in our persons. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag. It is the veteran who gave his or her oath to support and defend the Constitution and our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It is the veteran willing to give their life to protect your freedom and mine. May God bless all veterans, and thank you all for your service. So with that, I would like to turn it over to State Rep Kate Hogan for a few words.
I will be careful. Good morning, everybody. I know it's cold. I will be brief, but I wanted to thank Deb for keeping this alive and growing it. Troop 1, you're there. You're always there when it's important, and I hope you learn something from that and your leaders that teach you such a great lesson. This event began about 30 years ago as an idea. It was a pilgrimage by a Maine wreath maker who drove a truck carrying about 5,000 wreaths to Arlington National Cemetery and laid them at graves honoring our veterans. And so just as nearly 257,000 wreaths were laid at Arlington today, the USS Maine and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier here in Stow will leave many, many, many wreaths at our gravestones to honor. You know, our town has a strong tradition of honoring our veterans, and I'm so grateful to Deb and to Troop 1 for expanding that tradition to include this ceremony. I always make sure there is room on my calendar to be able to come here and join you all in honoring those who gave so much to so many. You know, it's so important to not only remember the nation's fallen and honor their service, but to teach the next generation about sacrifice and who made people live free in this country, and we know who that is today. You know, and at Christmas and at Hanukkah and at all the holidays, there are so many family members and friends we remember and bring closer to our hearts during this season. As my mother Mary would say, the wife of a World War II veteran, there's always room for one more at the table if you're serving up love. And so let us always have room for one more in our hearts for those who served and some who died, protecting our freedom. Please join me in honoring our veterans today, and may we recommit to an America worthy of their sacrifice and commitment. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, State Representative Kate. Appreciate it very much. Before we do the ceremonial laying of the first wreath, what I'd like everybody to do when I kind of let everybody go is the wreaths you'll see have been placed around different parts of the cemetery. If you would please, when you lay a wreath, first of all, make sure the bow is kind of fluffed. Bow should be on top. Please place it by a grave that has a flag. That identifies one of our veterans. We don't have enough for one for everybody, so if there's a couple in the area, sort of pick the middle one. And when you do lay the wreath, we also ask you to please out loud say the person's name as well as thanking them for their service. To start things off, I would like to ask Andy Demore, from veteran of the U.S. Navy, to please lay the first wreath here at the main monument. And before we start too, if we could just have a moment of silence and prayer for those who not only are serving our country now, but who are also no longer serving our country and are here within our town of Stow. So with that, again, thank you all for coming. And if you would please spread out throughout the cemetery. We have wreaths up, as we call it, by the gazebo, as well as over to my left, as well as all the way through the cemetery here. And that I again, thank you very, very much for being here. It really makes me very, very happy and grateful to be able to share this with everybody. Thank you very much.